everyone! So this video is really old. This you may remember about 2 months ago I did a set of nails for a sweet 16, and here she is. I think it was about 2.5 weeks later. She didn't want to keep them on too long because, to be honest, she's a nail biter and she did really well not to bite her nails, just to get a bit of length so I could put the nails on. And then as soon as they grew a bit, she was, you know when you put too long nails on and you kind of cripple yourself off. So yes, so she came in for a takeoff. So I thought, wow, fabulous. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a full takeoff, start to finish. I don't think I've edited it that much. I've, skipped a few bits where there was like nothing happening on screen, but on the whole this is a takeoff start to finish. This video is 27 minutes long, so you get an idea of exactly what I do when I remove a set of nails. So I'm not going to talk for a lot of it because I will just explain what I'm doing on one nail and then you can just watch with what's happening with the rest of them. So first of all, I've done as usual, sanitize everything, stuff like that, and then I'm coming in with my e-file. So this is one of the rare videos where you will actually see me using my e-file, and I'm going to remove the bulk down to that thin clear base. So whenever I do a set of nails, I always create a nice thin clear base, and that is what I'm doing now. So I am removing down to that base. Now I do one nail at a time with this bit because I want to start soaking that thin base as soon as possible. So I've got one of my lint-free wipes and I literally just cut these into 4. I've soaked that in acetone and then I'm using some foil. And yes, this is just kitchen foil. You can use hairdresser foil, fancy wraps, whatever you like. I just use kitchen foil. It's pretty much the same thing. It's a bit thinner, a bit flimsier, but it does the same thing. So as I go along, I remove each nail down to a thin clear base and then I wrap in a cotton pad in acetone. Now I do the pads and wrapping because when you have a bowl of acetone on your table, first of all, my clients are clumsy, I'm clumsy, I don't like having it. The steaming pots as well can be a bit messy. I had like the individual little pots of acetone that you can pop, like kind of suction onto people's fingers. I've tried loads of different things. This is the way I find the easiest, and if you wrap as you go along, by the time you've finished you can come back to that first one and it's ready to scrape off. So it's the least waste, least mess, it's the easiest way of doing it. So I'm just going to let the video continue to play with me removing the bulk of all these nails and wrapping them up, and I will talk to you again in a minute. Oh, I said I'll be back in a minute. 15 minutes later, she has returned. So yes, just wrapping up that final nail now. And then I'm just going to have a little dust down of myself and my desk. And then I'm going to start removing the acrylic. So for this bit I get my towel and kitchen towel out. I tend not to have my fan on for this bit because I don't like to have my fan on when I'm dealing with a takeoff. I was sorting out some glitter on that bit earlier. Because the wet acrylic, I don't want it getting all stuck and claggy onto my fan, and obviously the fan is not designed to suck that stuff away. So using my cuticle pusher, and I'm just gently scraping down the nail to get off those last bits of acrylic. And then I'm going to just push back those cuticles, and I'm going to do my usual cuticle work. If you can hear any noise in the background, that is my window cleaner's just turned up. So yes, that's what any scrabbling in the background is. And I just keep working along the hand, scraping these off. And as I have wrapped as I've gone along, most of them are pretty much ready to come off when I get to them. So I got to this one, and I can feel by the acrylic that that next one isn't going to have soaked enough. So I'm going to start doing some of my final removal. So all I do is I just use my 180 grit file, and all I'm just going to do is I'm going to tidy up the free edge and just do a very kind of a gentle buff across that nail plate, just to make sure I've got all those last little bits of acrylic off. Make sure there's nothing left on there. So I'm not putting any pressure on, it's just a very gentle buff, just swipe across the nail and just tidy it up a little bit. So again, I'm waiting for the other nails to have soaked off a little more, so I'll just go back and I'll do natural nail work, final natural nail, not prep because I'm not putting another set on, but just final finish off. I like to put cuticle oil on as soon as possible, just because when you've had acetone on your fingers, they do look really, really dry. So rather than leave it all, I just pop a little bit of cuticle oil on as I go, because it looks nicer for the clients to see, and also again, there's just those few extra seconds of soak time for the other nails. So that one's had a little bit longer, so now I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I was doing before, just scraping off, pushing back those cuticles, and then just tidying up the nails. So to speed up the removal time as well, you can use, you know, like they've got the kind of like the beans. They're like kind of like the bean bags that you put in the microwave and often smell of lavender. So you can get one of those warming like heat bags and get your client to place their hand under it, so the heat will make the acetone work faster, so the reaction will be quicker, so the acrylic will soak off a lot quicker. And I know before anyone says I'm really bad for this, I keep using my fingers to pull off those last little bits of acrylic. Do not do that. Don't do it. It is a perfect way to get a reaction and have issues with acrylic on your hands, so please don't do that. Or if you're going to put gloves on, I do normally put gloves on for removals, and I don't know why I didn't for this one. So yes, before anyone says it, that's bad practice. Don't do it. So do as I say, not as I do, guys. And that's about it really. So that is my full take off. So it's taken me about 25 minutes start to finish to take off this set of nails. Obviously if you were putting on a new set, when I did the natural prep, I would have then gone straight on to either tip or apply sculpts. I wouldn't have put cuticle oil on. So there you go guys, acrylics do not ruin your nails, and port application and removal does. See you all again soon. Bye!